Let me tell you the time my dad betrayed me. So, first, I went to jail. My dad picked up my daughter, and my daughter was with my dad. I got out of jail less than 2 weeks later, and I go pick up my daughter, and I find out that she's not there, that social services picked her up. During the week and a half that I was in jail, my dad put money on my books. He didn't stop by to visit me. He didn't add money onto his phone to talk to me. No news is good news. I have money on my books. That's it. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, shit, that's your fault. You went to jail. Yeah. I went to jail, and my dad had his granddaughter, and the responsible thing to do is to at least talk to me. My dad gave up his granddaughter because he wasn't in a stable living situation. I thought he and her were staying at my place. I didn't realize that was a complete shit show. It's another video of how to sue someone, and it's a backstory. But long story short, that house that I was renting a room out of was getting foreclosed. And it just so happened that while I was in jail, that house was getting shut down by the sheriffs. Like, you couldn't enter it. And my dad failed to at least communicate with me. At least let me know what's happening. Online, it showed that I was being released in like October. We were like in June. And knowing that I didn't have a place now, right? I didn't know that. I got out of jail. I had no daughter, no place to live. I didn't have any clothes, any money, barely any fucking belongings. And I didn't have my mom's ashes. They threw my mom's ashes away. It was so much. But you don't just give up someone's daughter. Had my dad given me the respect of being a mom and saying, hey, you're in jail. This is what's happening at home. I don't have a stable place for my grandbaby. I think the best decision is to put her to foster care right now because of the circumstances. When are you getting out? I would have been like, Dad, I'm getting out tomorrow. Like, or drop her off at Michelle's house and give her my EBT card. Like, what? So, I get out. I go straight to pick up my daughter. I learned that a social worker picked up my daughter maybe an hour before I got there. I go to my place of residence, and it is locked down. Luckily, in my possession, I did have a cell phone. And I contacted my friend, or did I have a cell phone? I want to say the battery died. That's what I want to say. I don't remember having a phone. But I ran into one of my friends, and she's like, oh, come to my house. I was walking by, and I saw like movers, and they're like throwing shit away. And I saw this folder. And I remember you saying, like, if anything, make sure you get this folder. And it's this, I call it the magic folder. And it has everything that's important. And she's like, yeah, and I grabbed these photo albums too. I figured it was important. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And from that moment, that was my dad's betrayal. That is something to me is purely unforgivable. As a grandfather, as a father, it is your job to protect. Now you can say, well, shit, you're the dumb bitch who went to jail. Yep, I went to jail. the case ended up getting, it was a stupid ass charge. The case ended up getting dismissed. So what now? So my dad betrayed me, and that is something that I never got an apology for. Our actions, well, I did get an apology like a week before he passed away. So like 10, 11 years after the fact, he finally apologized. My dad was huge on actions speak louder than words. I knew he felt guilty. I knew he knew that wasn't the right thing to do. The very minimum he should have done was bring it to my attention. I had no idea this shit was happening. But what did he do? He paid my phone bill. He paid for my transportation. I had to go to court and do the court ordered things from Children's Court. And he paid for those classes. Yes, there are free classes, but there's always a waiting list, and I didn't have time to wait. So yeah, his actions, he was helpful. He was financially supportive, right? And we got my daughter back after like a year or so. But had he just apologized? On top of backing up his apology by showing and financially supporting. So that's how my dad portrayed me. By my dad's lack of communication with me really just solidified the lack of like respect as a mom he had for me. He did not, at that time at least, by his actions, by not talking to me, I'm fully understanding of why he did it. He felt like there was no other choice. He felt like it was the best choice. He didn't have a stable place to live. I didn't fucking have a place to live. Right? Where he failed was talking to me. That is where he failed. Had he just stopped by for a visit and said, hey, Simona, baby girl, mama, Mona, how long are you going to be in here? Because online is saying October. We're in June. I cannot take care of her by myself for months. Yeah, I totally get that, Daddy. I never expected you to just fully take care of my daughter. It's never been a thing. I'm actually getting released tomorrow. I'm actually getting released in 2 days. Like, and if you cannot wait, like, drop her off to Michelle's. Like, Michelle is like actually waiting for her. She's like, they're not gonna turn away Shauna. Like, that's it. like in fact, like, this is like besides the story. Like, today, Michelle still lives in the same fucking place. So it wasn't like not knowing where my friend lived or anything like that. Like, yeah. So a week before my dad passed away, he was in a hospital. We were having our last heart-to-heart. I didn't know it was going to be our last heart-to-heart, obviously. And he did apologize. He apologized, and whoo-wee. And I just felt like, where the fuck was his apology 10 years ago? Because I have been so like resentful of him. It's hard to take care of someone when they did shit like that to you in their fucking health. He was healthy back then, you know. It's like, you know, but you know, that's yeah, that's how he betrayed me. It took him 10, 11 years later to finally fucking apologize. His actions, you know, spoke. You know, he was a very involved, hands-on dad and grandfather. I never expected him to be fucking perfect. What I did expect was the communication. That's all. Y'all gotta talk to me, you know? And I still believe that with every single being in my body. I accepted his apology. I was like, finally. He's like, yeah, Mona, I know. And we're both fucking crying and shit because we had no idea what the fuck was happening. And it was an emotional, tough ass fucking day. And little did we know that would be our last heart to heart.